welcome everybody. We appreciate your early morning on timeness. This is terrific here. We have Sarah Hansen here today, who's going to be our first grade expert lead teacher talking and telling you all about the first grade program. And we'll start with Mr. Hansen.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining on an early Tuesday morning to learn a little bit about first grade, and a big welcome to you and your children, and we look forward to meeting everyone. And as you know, this has been kind of an interesting year because so much has been done like this on Zoom, and normally we would have you in and you'd get to see lots of kids and tour and do all those things that make a decision very easy, I think, for many families to choose Academy. But thanks for working through this with us as we go through. And I've been opening these up with kind of so you understand our commitment to you and your kids when they join us. And you know, a year ago we were into the governor had declared that we were going to be spending the rest of the year online, and the teachers did a wonderful job. But as soon as that decision was made for the rest of the year, we started looking at what was next year going to look like, because we know Academy is a school where the magic takes place on campus, in person with the teachers and their peers. And so through the course of last spring and through the summer, we started with the premises: what can we do to make sure we can be safe and on campus 100% of the time? And we started off at 100% in the lower school, and with less than 4 weeks now, you know, we expect to do the same. And it was a full commitment on the school, because we realized that while online learning can offer some advantages, of course, for us, the interaction is the key, and that time spent each day talking to kids playing, kids talking to each other is what's most important. And the school made the necessary arrangements and put in different infrastructures, and we've got 5 fifth grade classrooms in a gym with some walls, portable sound barriers put up. We have 4 classrooms in a wrestling room. We've used the music room, the art room. We've used the computer labs. We've done the library. We've taken every space possible, and we went from 28 homerooms to 45 homerooms. And our largest class size, we have a couple at 13. Our smallest is in the Explorer program with 5, and we have an average of 10. And so our students are socially distanced, they're spaced out, and having a wonderful year. And so I just want to start with that, because that's tells you a little bit about what we want to do and the necessary things we wanted to make sure we did so your kids could be on campus. And I'm going to, I see Brelly is here, so I'm going to introduce Brelly Fahrenkopf. Brelly is the assistant head of lower school, and she's also the director of the early childhood program, which is the Explorers pre-K and kindergarten. So good morning, Brelly.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're excited you're joining the CA Lower School family. Lots of fun things happening here, and we're just excited for you to learn more about it. So Sarah, you want to take it away?
Sure. Welcome, everybody. Just a little bit I'll tell you a little bit about our first grade team, but just a little bit to put me into context. I've been at Academy for 12 years. I started out as a long-term sub for a couple of years, and my kids have gone all the way through here. I have 2 who started in pre-K, 1 who's graduating this year, and 1 who's a sophomore. I have a stepson who's also a sophomore, and my partner graduated from Academy in '89 when it was still all boys years ago, and my ex-husband works here in the middle school. So we're a whole kind of a quirky mixed family, but it's a great place to be as a family like that, and we've loved every minute of it. I think, as you heard Mark say, COVID has changed some things, but I would say the heart of it is the same, that we have been able to do really the essential things that, you know, we go in and outside and we play a lot and we learn in a very hands-on way. We do that a little more distantly than we did before. The kiddos wear masks. I usually wear a mask. I'm in the room alone, but I think what we've found is that the heart of it has stayed the same. When I showed the slides, the pictures are of kids without masks, and those obviously are not from this year. So just so you so you know, when you see these kids kind of all over each other, that's where the pictures are coming from. Some of the things that we've done this year, you'll see pictures of our field trip and things like that, and we were not able to do those this year because of COVID. We hope to return to those things, but that's my little caveat at the beginning. So if you have questions, feel free to interrupt me, or I can take some at the end. I think I'm ready for the slideshow. Are you sharing it, or?
I can pull it up. If you have
Okay.
it, go ahead. You've got access to share. So.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can.
And feel free to pop questions into the chat as if you would like to, and then we can answer those at the end. Or as Sarah said, feel free to just jump in with questions.
Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Here. You can see my full screen. Is it coming? So I'm so sorry. This is not I'm the hands-on first grade teacher. Is it showing like a regular slideshow?
Click
Or is
on
it showing-
present, Sarah.
Right.
Your top right, click on present. Yep.
Thank you.
And then you'll have an arrow at the bottom. You can just click.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so this is the start of it. Like I said, this is the heart of it. This is a couple years ago. These are our kiddos kind of all together. This is an average class size. I think this is probably 16. So that's pretty normal for us. I would say 15, 16 kiddos in a first grade class. Kimberly, where's my arrow? Oh, there we go. Okay. So to start each day, we do morning meeting. This is consistent actually through the whole lower school. We have a social emotional learning curriculum called Responsive Classroom. When you receive the slideshow, you'll be able to click on the link down here that talks a lot more about it. But the essence of it is that we are able to welcome the students each day, make sure that they feel engaged and a sense of belonging, that we connect with them, that they feel connected with each other, that they see themselves in each other. So part of it is you can see a morning message there on the big easel. We welcome them. We do some of our learning that way when we do phonics, and it just sets the tone for the day. We normally gather in a circle together. We do activities, and those things build throughout the day. So if you're thinking, I have a very introverted child who would be nervous about that, I get that. I'm much the same, but we really build the sense of comfort so that the kiddos maybe start out feeling safe by just giving a wave greeting, and by the end we're doing elbow bumps and we're doing shakes and we're doing all kinds of different activities in the morning to start out the day. At the end of the day, we also do closing circle, so to close out the day with how was your day? What was your favorite part? Reflecting on some things. Sometimes there's an educational component like reflecting on our learning, and sometimes it's whatever happened during the day that we reflect on. So Riley or Mark, anything to add on Responsive Classroom?
Nope.
Okay. For reading and writing, we, well, first grade is, I mean, it's huge, and it's, I have to say, I've taught other grades, but first grade, there's something about it, the growth and the development, and no matter where they come in, because there's such a range, there's a range of ages and there's a range of where they are in their learning, but they grow so much. So we do readers workshop with small groups. We do a lot of read alouds, shared reading. You can see up in the corner where the kiddos are reading together. Those students might not be at the same reading level, but they're sharing their reading in different ways. So we do one-on-one work. And for writers workshop, again, same as with the reading, their writing grows when you see from, we're now at the end of the school year. So to see them grow from the beginning of the year to the end, you know, that incorporates handwriting, but it also incorporates just their ability to be creative and to write and to draw. And even the most reluctant ones, or the students who come in not loving things like that, by the end they're writing books and publishing books and presenting them sometimes to the class if they feel comfortable with it. We also do, I think the picture on the top where she's laying in the quad, you can see that we do nature journals. So on Fridays, when we have Forest Fridays, which I'll talk about, then they reflect on their time and they have their own nature journal to write and illustrate. The phonics dance is a way that we teach phonics. So learning, you can see the picture with the hunks and chunks, having the different learning to separate the different sounds. They're transitioning really from that, like using their best first grade spelling, using phonetic spelling, to more conventional spelling. And first grade is a time when they do that. It's not a mastery, so they move that into second grade also, but we do a lot with spelling and breaking up words and sounds.
Sarah, could you tell, I know guided reading is, we know what it is, but parents may not know that term.
Sure.
Can you talk about that a little
Sure.
bit, what it actually is? Thanks.
Sure. It's, you know, it depends on the student. So it's wherever they come in reading, you know, it says small groups, but really sometimes it's one-on-one depending on where the student is or what they're working on in reading. Sometimes somebody who's a really strong reader is working on comprehension. So they might be able to just fluently read through something, but they're working on that understanding, thinking deeply into a story, thinking beyond it, thinking about the author and what the author was trying to say. Sometimes they come in and they're working on sounding out words and being able to move through a sentence and even see the words for what the words are in a sentence. So if the students are at the same kind of around the same level and the same place, then we work with them in groups. We work with them one-on-one. Sometimes as the year goes on, we'll do book groups. So they'll all have a book that they work on. So the guided reading is, I mean, I feel like Brella, you can speak to that better, but I would say it's a lot of things, especially in first grade.
Yeah, and Sarah, I think you explained it really well. And there's a question in the chat just asking,
Okay.
are the workshops adapted to students' reading ability levels? Absolutely. We assess the kids at the beginning of the year with a benchmark assessment, and then teachers are continually observing and taking notes on students' reading behaviors and making a lot of instructional decisions daily about where to move a child in terms of their reading and what they need as a reader. So lots of individualized work and really thinking about where the children are in their own ability.
We have a video. I think this will play. This is the an example of the phonics dance from a number of years ago. Look at those kiddos. I think are they in middle school?
Phonics dance has withheld the test of time.
Yes.
Let's see here. It seems
I
to-
know why it's spinning. It might be my signal in here. And if it doesn't work, it's in you, everybody will receive the slideshow, right? Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to sing you the slideshow because that would be terrible for all of you, but I'm going to move on. The phonics dance is, it has a chant that goes with it. So it has, we do each of the letter sounds. So Abby is sad, is A. And so each of the letters has that. And then each of our hunks and chunks has that. Hunks and chunks are like blends of the letters together and what sound they make. So your kiddos will come home saying those. Pre-K uses it in kindergarten, first grade, they expand into all those different sounds. It's a way for them to connect the letters with the sound, with the chant. So it incorporates, so it's just a way for them to remember it. And some of the kiddos love it and you'll hear it, and some of them are kind of silly and fun, and we have them posted in our room so that they can see it. So moving on to math. We are in our third year. We adopted the Envisions math curriculum through Pearson. And it is, I have to say, I mean, I'm kind of partial because I'm on the math committee, but I love this program. It really helps the kiddos, again, kind of like reading wherever they are. It helps support them if they're just gaining some number sense. It expands and extends them if they come in with a real strong math ability. There are within this program, it really encompasses all of that. We also, so you can see in the upper right-hand corner, the kiddos are working in their book. We have workbooks. We also do a lot of hands-on that incorporates the math that we're learning. So it focuses on that, the problem solving, the critical thinking, and the really building a strong number sense. And then a supplemental program that we use is ST Math. It's a spatial temporal math program. It's online, and they do that probably not every day. They do that a few times a week. And it reinforces their number sense for kiddos who are who are building their reading. It is not a reading program. It's just this very, the kiddos do a really nice job with it, like working themselves through it. It gets pretty complicated for them, but they build up at their own level. So again, it's very individualized. And that the students really love it. They really enjoy it. And in the fall, we focus on a Me on the Map. The students, it's kind of our geography unit. It's also allows them to share some things about who they are, where they're from, where their families are from. And then the culminating event is to go to North Market here, and they have a passport. They get their passport stamped. That's something we didn't do this year, but hopefully we will be able to return to that. But that's one of our, I would say it's a geography unit, but it's also very much meeting the students where they are as far as, early in the year, really allowing them to get to know each other better. And then we learn a lot about Columbus at the same time. So you can see some parents were able to meet us there. And that's a whole first grade thing. In the spring, we do an immersive unit called Then and Now. It allows us to compare life in the 1800s to life now. We just finished it up. It's 2 weeks right at the beginning of March. We didn't do the field trip. Normally we take a field trip to a working farm, an 1800s farm. We talk a lot about comparing. We talk about needs and wants at that time. So we incorporate our math into that. So we do time and measurement. And in our reading, we read a lot about the time period. So And then all of our writing, they do a writing journal during that time. So it's all of our units of study. And then we also have special classes. You might hear them also called co-curricular classes. This year we have had a mobile library. So our librarian has come to the classroom with basically a bookmobile where the students check out books from her. But we have a beautiful library. You will receive a list, like a summer reading list, and Ms. Oath spends, she just does a great job of finding new books and traditional kind of just great books that are age appropriate. Senora Rental is our Spanish teacher, and music and movement. They will do a music program. If you look on the Columbus Academy website, you'll see the first graders just presented. It's a hit. So if you see It's a Hit, you can click on that and watch the virtual, they put together our spring musical from the first grade, and they did it all class by class. They have PE with Mrs. Adams. The students in first grade swim, which we've been able to do this year. If your students feel, or if your children feel a little apprehensive about that, it's something that they do such a nice job, but by the end of the year, they love it. It's one of their favorite classes. And art with Mr. Sassetti. Mr. Sassetti is his own tradition. He's been here for years, and the students love it. They do sculpture and painting and pastels, and create all different kinds of works and study different artists. Science with Mrs. King right now, they have baby chicks that hatched. So the baby chicks have been traveling around the school for science. They also do mealworms and all kinds of hands-on activities. And technology with Mr. Mitchell. They do a little bit of the ST math, and they also do some other all kinds of programming and different activities in technology. Mr. Diddy is our school counselor, and he does wellness. He incorporates yoga and mindfulness and some like social skills with that. So those are our special classes. It ranges. Some of them we have once a week. Some of them we have more than once in a 7-day cycle. So, and here's our Forest Fridays. This year, every Friday, we dress down, we go out, we explore, rain, snow, sleet, it doesn't matter, we're outside. We are able to incorporate our curriculum into that, our reading and writing, and like I said, with the nature journals, our math with measurement, and really just playing and exploring the campus. The kids get really muddy, prepare for mud, and even kiddos who don't start out loving that, really, it's another thing that we ease into it, obviously. But we have a beautiful campus, and it's we explore every inch of it. I think my favorite part about this is there are students in the classroom who emerge as leaders, and on Forest Fridays, it's not always the same students. It really kind of levels the playing field, and just there are, I think, kiddos who feel really comfortable outside, and it allows them to really flourish. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of it. We have lots of great traditions. The picture in the upper left is our campfire that Ms. Oath leads. They are, we group with the buddies, and we have hot chocolate and s'mores, and they tell stories. The VIP in the lower corner, and the little girl with the glasses on is our like our star of the week, where the kids are able to bring in pictures, and each day they share something. One of the days they share, they're an expert, so they bring something to do or present something or teach the class something. So sometimes it's teaching cartwheels, sometimes it's origami, sometimes it's lacrosse. Once it was had a little girl tap dance on her table and then teach everybody to do that. So, and then here's a picture in the lower corner of a year where they presented the musical all in person. And a tradition at Academy all the way through is our buddies. So the first graders have fourth grade buddies. And we get together throughout the year and do activities with them. And the lower left-hand corner is assembly, where we meet in the theater all together as a lower school. And then we'll take turns being able to present at assembly or to lead assembly. We have jump rope for heart around Valentine's Day to talk about heart health. And then the lower right-hand corner, being able to be with the explorers and the pre-K and kindergartners. So being role models for the younger students here as well. And then service learning is a huge part of all of Columbus Academy. I am a member of the service department for the lower school. And we have been able to do less of it this year, but it's really, this is the pictures you see are something that we do in the fall with the Kids for Kids, the food drive and the clothing drive, but we do things throughout the year. Right, a few other things. Thursday folders is really just like you will get lots of information about this, so don't feel like this is something you need to remember. But on Thursdays in first grade, we try to send all their work home on Thursdays in our communication, so it's not trickling down to you. It's just a way for us to kind of have it in one place and be able to communicate. You'll get notes from us at that time. Sometimes your students write a note about their favorite parts of the week. And Dear Drop Everything and Read is part of our reading routine. They will come home with books to read every single night. Sometimes they're leveled books. Sometimes they're a book with high interest that maybe is not at their reading level for whatever. So it's really like, I think the goal always, but the goal in first grade is that they love reading. Reading is a lifetime skill and we want them to love it no matter where they are. And so, so Dear is a way to do that. We do that in school, and it's also something that we encourage them to do at home to get in that good habit of reading nightly. The homework choice board is kind of like a bingo board, and they will get one each week. And there will be all different kinds of things on there. So some of them will be do jumping jacks while you say your sight words. Some of them will be something that you write. It will be reinforcing the skills that we're working on, and then giving the students a choice. So it's building that habit of homework without making it feel like an overwhelming task. And it comes home on Monday. It is returned on Friday. So you'll hear more about that. And that doesn't start right at the beginning of the year. We have 2 teachers in the classroom normally. So we have an associate teacher who is in the classroom for the morning, so 5 hours in the morning until after lunch. And lunch we normally eat in the main dining hall. It says more choices in Independence. Excuse me. So what that means is in kindergarten, they were eating in a smaller dining hall, and then lunch for first grade is in the big dining hall. So and that builds. So if you have your child is eats only certain things, and those things don't worry about those things will build. They're still well supervised and well supported. A teacher sits at a table, kind of family style, with them throughout the whole year. So, and then in kindergarten and in pre-K, they have a rest time, and in first grade we move to chill time. So that's why it says chill time versus rest. Chill time is something that we do usually right after lunch, and it's a quiet time for them to be able to just focus, read, write, draw. It's about 20 minutes each day, just to have kind of a quiet moment. It's a time too where sometimes the teachers will be able to read with a student, or if they want to talk or need something, that it's a good one-on-one time also. And this is us. Mrs. Simmons has been here, you probably know better, 26 years, I think, in the upper left-hand corner, and has taught first grade for much of it. And her kids graduated from here. She has a new grandson. Mrs. Klug has been here, I think, 16 or 17 years. And she has taught first grade. I think the whole time she taught science first also, and then has been in first grade. Again, you've been hearing me, and Mrs. Hostovich is our newest member, and she was an administrator at Village Academy and has been teaching second grade. So she will be moving to first grade. So that's us. Okay, Mark and Brella, you can tell me all the things I forgot, and I'm happy to take
No,
questions.
not at all. Thank you, Sarah. And you know, we want to, any questions that you might have as we went through the slides, anything that came up, feel free to, we're a small enough group, so feel free, you can either put it in the chat, that's fine, or if you want to just unmute and ask the question. But thank you so much, Sarah.
Oh, Deb, you're muted.
I thought we had another question in the chat, so I was just, but I don't see it. I think we answered that one about the reading. I just have, if there aren't any more, I taught first grade here for 9 years, and it is just, as Sarah said, it's a magical grade. And I think sometimes we take some things as a parent. Yes, you expect your child to read, and you do, but the reading factor in first grade just seems to be, the world at 6 and 7 years old just seems to take to reading. And I know I started with my grandchildren that are, the older two are 8 and 5, to have a really huge party when they learn how to read. It is a big, big deal. So with them, I know we were throwing confetti, making, you know, cupcakes. As a family, that's a pretty big deal, and should be treated as such. So rather than taking, and there's no better time spending, if somebody would say to me, in all your years of being around kids, what would you do the most? It would be read, and then read some more, whether you're reading to them. I think it's great that our teachers too read to the children almost every day. So they see us read as well too. That's important at home, whether you're reading the newspaper, whether you're reading a book, to have a family chapter book going, which is always important. But I know with COVID, I've had with my grandchildren, they'll say, "What do you want to do, Dee Dee?" And I go, "I would love to hear you read." It's just magical to me. So you're going to enjoy this year in first grade. Great team. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Briley and Mark, you have anything to add, or?
There's a question, I don't know, Sarah,
Yeah.
maybe you want to talk about how it says, I wondered if you could please talk about enrichment extension programs. So if you want to talk about how that applies in first grade, and then if there's any more questions about that, certainly we can take it.
Sure. I think, honestly, it's so individualized that it really depends on, like, because our class sizes are so small that we're able to meet them where they are. So if we are teaching, like right now we're doing our subtraction unit, and it's talking about making tens and composing and decomposing numbers. And so there's obviously developmentally, there's a huge range with each of the kiddos. Some kiddos, and partly because there's a big age range. So it's not really ability necessarily, it's age and where they are in their development. So each student, based on where they are, is able to, like our math curriculum, incorporates that. So just in our math workbook, some students might do question 5, 7, and 9 because that's where they are, and they know, and I know because it's a small class and we know that. So they might do those questions, but some students who are really not there, they're in a different place with it. They might do different questions. We have an ability to do, like, there's a lot of problem solving, there's a lot of extension as far as within the program, and then we also do that outside of it. So ST Math is individual, and then I do, and a lot of us in first grade do Marcy Cook tiling, which is a really interesting math program from years. She's been doing this for years, but the students have to do trial and error with a range of numbers, 0 through 9, and try things out. They balance numbers, they do equations. We find that it's very interesting for students who maybe have great automaticity with their math facts, but have a hard time being wrong in order to be right, if that makes sense. So sometimes that's hard. It's kind of like when your kids are learning to play a game and not win all the time. It's one of those activities where they have to try something and they might use a 4 because the 4 fits in there, but really they need the 4 down further in a box. And for some, that sounds very simple, but it's one of those things that it's a skill that they develop. Like I'm trying this and it's okay that, eventually it's not right. But I can make it right at the end. So that's one thing I would say in first grade is we talk a lot about like being able to make mistakes and being in a safe space and trying something. And as teachers, we model that a lot, that I made a mistake. I wrote the wrong date on the morning message, or I spelled something wrong, or, really pointing those out, because I think that for them to learn that it's okay to be wrong. And that's how we learn. We learn from our mistakes, and you don't stop making those. You just maybe make different ones, and it's okay. So as far as extension and enrichment, we do that. We incorporate that with each student, but it's very individual. And that goes for the whole lower school. I would say that we all do that. We meet what the student needs.
Yeah, and I think also, thanks, Sarah. And I think, the school, one of the beauties of Academy is that we're all on one campus. And so, when we have our curriculum meetings, when we meet with our Explorer teachers, are on the math committee, as is our AP, calculus teachers. And so they know exactly when they're talking about changing, making modifications to the curriculum, they are, we know exactly what the kids need before they go into middle school, and the middle school needs, they know exactly where their kids need to be as they enter 9th grade in the upper school and move that way. So there's lots of, like Sarah said, individual enrichment opportunities in the reading program she went through. That it's basically with guided reading, it's all individualized, and those kids can just take it, and those strong readers and those ones that are just not ready yet developmentally, just they're not there, then they may be at a different place. But we're very fortunate to be all on one campus and know exactly where the kids need to be at each step of the way.
And first grade is about foundation. So, instead of building vertically, we're moving them to 2nd grade work or 3rd grade work or whatever, that we're building a strong foundation. So if like with reading and writing and math and all of those pieces, that it's that the broader we can build their foundation, the better they grow.
Just have to show you, I'm going to break in here. I don't know if I could do it, but I don't know if you can see, but outside my window, you can see the Explorer kids are in there doing some gardening and heading outside for the morning. So you could probably hear them. So I thought maybe you should have a chance to see them. Are there any more questions that we can answer?
Oh, do you have a question?
Can I ask directly? Yeah, so thank you. So thank you, Sarah and Mark, for the introduction. That's very, very nice. And thank you, Debbie, earlier for all the communication. So it's just marvelous. So I have an incoming first grade, so Jerry Lin. So so when I asked about the enrichment program, I just wondered if it's structured enough to have a group of, I'm pretty sure you have many smart kids. So to have those smart kids together and challenge them more. For example, Jerry, he himself, and so I don't mean just to focus on my kids. So, so if I ask too many questions, just let me know. So he reads so much, and he already finished all the first grade homework himself. So to him, it's all too easy. So I kind of wonder, so it's not like something he would say, learn to make mistakes. He actually stopped making mistakes already. To some students at that level, how is there any program or specific extension that they could learn better to fit their level?
Yeah, I can start and then feel free to jump in, Brawley and Sarah. I think one of the things that, you know, obviously independent schools most independent schools don't have like a gifted and talented program because the program is already extended in many ways, and keeping the class size and then with an associate, we're able to do that. And just like Sarah said, you know, we don't say, oh, because you finished the first grade math, you get to be in second grade math or third grade math. We have lots of really talented math students. And so our job is to challenge them, you know, like I think Sarah used a much better analogy than I do. We say horizontally and not vertically. So we don't just move them into the next book. We actually look for activities, hands-on activities, especially in first grade, because a lot of kids are very, you know, they understand some concept, but they need the more concrete and more developing it and trying it out, playing some math games and doing some of the extension activities. So that's kind of the way in terms of our math. And in reading, Brawley, maybe you can just give a example of how guided reading in first grade. I mean, a strong first grade reader can be reading books that are at a much higher level.
Yeah, we use the Fountas and Pinnell classroom materials. We have a huge range of books available. We know that children at every grade are going to be reading in different ways at different levels. So as I had mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the year, the teacher will assess to see exactly where a child is in terms of a reading level. And then we have just a range of resources that we can pull and read those specific books with the specifically leveled books that are the best fit for each child. So we don't say, you know, in first grade, we only use these books and that's it. We say, here's what we have. What are you ready for? And let's bring it out for you. And it's, as Mark and Sarah have said, lots of individualization. If some children are ready to work at the same level, then we will maybe do some small group work there. But if they need individualized work, then we will work with them individually. It's what we call flexible grouping. And so wherever a child is where we're going to meet them.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think with
part of it is
read,
also just kids can orally read sometimes, but it's more than just being able to read the book. It's, do they really understand the book? Because a lot of kids can memorize sounds and things. And so it looks like, wow, they can really read this, whatever book it is. But then when you start asking questions, it's like, but they really don't understand what the book is about, or what they're just, you know, reading, which is important, but not understanding, which is even more important.
So that's our benchmark assessment that we use actually looks at just general reading behavior, accuracy and fluency, but then it digs deeper into the comprehension pieces with looking at, we call it 3 different areas: thinking within the text, about the text, and beyond the text. And so, as Mark was saying, you know, we sometimes will have a child who can read anything we pop in front of them, but then it's going into, can you talk about it? Can you make connections? Can you talk about why the author chose to use the types of words he or she was using? Can you start to get into some of that figurative language? So we are always looking for how we can grow a child across, as well as moving them further into the next level.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank
Sure.
you.
You're muted, Deb.
I could chit chat away to myself.
I think we're all going to need t-shirts that say you're muted.
Muted, and
Well, we
just put a
finished it.
sign or hold a sign up that says something. I know, I just started to yip yap here. But from the admissions office, in probably week's end, beginning of next week, there will be a new parent packet coming. Summer reading health forms, probably more information than you want to get from us will be in this. It'll be sent electronically this time. But one thing I want to emphasize is, don't ever wonder about anything at home. You can call Lower School, call the admissions office. We'll put you in touch with the people that you want to be. We appreciate that you made us as your choice with your most prized possession, your child. Please trust us that we're going to treat them with a lot of love and watching your child. And as I say to parents, I watch children through the years with affection, and it's fun to do so. And if we don't have Mark Brelli, you have some final words. We'll sign off here. If you do, I'll turn it over to you to end it. And again, thank you. Thank you for trusting us.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Sarah, for going through the slides and talking about the first grade program. And again, since it is such a different kind of environment where you can't come in and do things, feel free to reach out to us. If there's a question that comes up in the summer, one of us is around and we'll certainly answer it. So, feel free to ask those kind of questions. And we're really excited to see your children in August. If not before. And one thing you're welcome to do, and we've been talking about this with the other groups, is if you want to come up on the weekends and use some of the trails that are around, the outdoor trails, feel free. It's a great campus to explore and to kind of spend a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon, or if there's a game going on, feel free to watch. There's lots of great playground equipment, and it's the weekends are a good time to kind of since your child can't come into the building right now, they can certainly get to see the outsides and explore that part.
I think we're good. I hope everybody has a great rainy day, and keep in mind this brings the Mayflowers, right? So have a good one, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.